Good morning, everyone. Now, this time we're going to start. I'm Collomb, the Executive Director of the Wildlife Conservation Network, and it's my pleasure to welcome everybody here. Thank you for coming. In my lifetime, we've lost half of the world's wild animals. Half. Since 2007, elephant populations have declined by 100,000 because of poaching. There'll be more people here today at the Expo, twice as many actually, than there are Ethiopian wolves left in the wild. If we don't change our ways, these declines are going to continue. If we don't change our ways, some of these species, some of these populations might disappear from places where they exist in the wild, and at worst could go extinct. Now that's unacceptable. But I have hope. And I hope by the end of today, you'll have lots of hope as well. I have hope because I believe that field-based conservation entrepreneurs are uniquely placed to make a difference, to prevent these declines. They can design, implement, and more importantly, adapt, along with the local communities with whom they work, lasting solutions that are effective to prevent these declines and make sure that we have a future where people and wildlife can coexist and thrive. And each one of you here has a role to play. Whether you're 8 years old or 80 years old, I'm asking you to consider supporting these conservationists. And by supporting these conservationists, that can mean any number of different things. It could be sharing what you hear today with your friends and family. It could be finding your passion and making this your career. It could be making a contribution, a donation, finding a skill that you want to contribute, anything. You just have to find that one thing. Because when you do, you're joining our movement to protect these animals and care for our planet. So I thank you in advance for what you've done and for what you'll do. Thank you very much. Now I want to tell you a little bit about the Wildlife Conservation Network and about today. Okay. WCN was founded in 2002 to create a highly effective and efficient organization that would connect generous supporters to the passion that they have for the work of wildlife conservation. To date, you have generously contributed $70 million to WCN to support wildlife conservation, and we're immensely grateful for that support. Thank you. Now, 90% of those funds have gone towards our programs, and we guarantee that if you want to designate your support towards a particular species, we'll guarantee that 100% of those funds go towards those species in the field. Charity Navigator, which rates over 8,000 different nonprofit organizations for their financial health, transparency, and accountability, ranks WCN as the #1 wildlife conservation organization with a perfect 100 score. Now that's not to say that there aren't many other groups doing fantastic work. There are plenty, and many of them are here and outside, and I encourage you to support them as we do. But it's certainly a metric that we are very proud of. WCN was created to save animals. To do so, we believe in investing and supporting entrepreneurial, field-based wildlife conservationists so that they can achieve their mission faster and better. This year has been really exciting for us at WCN. We've been able to expand our reach in many different ways. Programmatically, I'm excited to announce that we have moved beyond terrestrial ecosystems. And so I see some hands going up, that's great. So I'm really excited to welcome our first partners working on marine species, our first partners working on bird species, our first partners working on bear species, and also diversifying with an expanding reach in Latin America and many of those partners working globally. You'll hear a little bit more about this throughout the day. I'm also thrilled that we've been able to broaden our community. I'm hoping this is a movement, even more so than the community. We held our first Expo in the spring in the Bay Area, down in the peninsula. I saw many of you there, and I hope that I'll see all of you at our next spring Expo that we'll do in Marin County in 2017. We had expos in Chicago and Houston. We're on all the social media channels. Even some of them I'm not even familiar with they are, but we're on there. And in fact, if you know somebody who would love to be here but can't, you can follow us live on Facebook or on YouTube right now. And all these talks are being recorded, so you can watch them later as well. I need to kind of check where I am actually on this. Let's see. So, why are we here today? I've been really fortunate to spend a whole week with the conservationists that you're about to meet. And I was privileged to be a part of and witness some conversations among them where they were able to share lessons, the highs, the lows of all their work. And it was incredibly inspiring to do so. The learning that they were able to do, the camaraderie that they were able to share is absolutely extraordinary. And it left me really inspired. And so this is what I invite you to do today. I invite you to get inspired. I invite you to connect with the conservationists you'll hear on this stage. Get inspired, connect with them, find out a way you can help. So let me tell you a little bit about today. There are going to be 1,000 people here today. I'd like to do a show of hands. For how many people is this your first expo that you're attending? Please raise your hand. Great. Well, welcome. I want to do a little exercise. We do it every year, and you're going to see how deep this community is. How many of you have been here for 2 expos? Please raise your hand. Okay. How about 5 expos or more? How about 10 expos or more? Wow. So I'll try this out even. We've had 15 expos. So how many of you have been here for all 15 expos? So this is a big community, and it keeps growing. So this is my next question. How many of you are here because a friend asked you to come? Please raise your hand. Okay, so welcome. Now you all know your job. Your job next year is to come back and to bring 1 or more friends. This way we'll keep growing this community. So this day is a really unique opportunity to try to connect with all the conservationists. I encourage you to go and meet all of them. Not just the folks who are going to be here on stage, but also all their field staff who have come along with them. Also all the exhibitors who are outside. They do fantastic work. There are many organizations here. We are proud to support, through WCN, 17 partners. We have supported 80 scholarships. So those are going for people from developing countries to pursue a career in conservation biology or something related to conservation. And through the Elephant Crisis Fund, we've been able to support 120 different projects addressing anti-poaching, anti-trafficking, and demand reduction. So many of these groups are here today. Go meet them. Find out a way you can help, get connected, get inspired. The whole point is to really mingle and get to know each other. I've got a couple of logistics that I have to go through, so make sure I'm not going to forget that. One of those things is there's a little cowbell here. So we're going to have sessions that are going to, some sessions this year are a little different. Some sessions last a full hour. There's one session right after lunch that lasts half an hour. So the breaks, most of them are about 30 minutes, but some of the breaks will be 15 minutes. So when you hear this little cowbell as you're walking around doing your Christmas shopping, that means you've got about 5 minutes before the next session is going to start. So when you hear the cowbell, please come back here. Obviously, turn off your cell phones. There'll be lunch provided. Those lunch have been underwritten and they're compostable, so they'll be found right outside. There aren't many food options around here. I'm making sure that I didn't forget anything. And I think that's about it on all these announcements. So before I turn it over to our next speakers, I want to thank a couple people. First, I want to thank our sponsors, without whom we couldn't put on these expos. The Gordon Betty Moore Foundation, the Houston Zoo, the Sacramento Zoo, Disney Conservation Fund, the Leiden Foundation, Safari West, and San Diego Zoo Global. So if we could give them a round of applause for all their support, thank you very much. I also want to thank over 100 volunteers who are generously donating their time. Many of them are here today. They're wearing WCN shirts. We really could not do these events without you. So thank you so much for giving us your time, for everything that you do, for making this possible. You're all part of this wonderful community and effort that we have. So thank you to all our volunteers. I'm extremely thankful, of course, to all the conservationists. I've been telling them all week, so I don't really need to make a big deal of it. But of course, we're terribly thankful for all the work that they do. But we are really all thankful, and I say this on their behalf, for everything that you do. The simple fact that you're here today speaks volume. And it's not just for the conservationists who are going to be here on stage, but it's also for all the thousands of people that they represent. Their field staff who work with them, the communities that they interact with. Many of those people will never have a chance to come here and realize that people like you care so much for what happens in their countries. So on their behalf, I thank you for coming out here and showing your support.